All right, so you ready to jump into this Polygon deep dive with me? Because things are getting pretty interesting over there.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems like every day there's something new happening with them.
Yeah, a lot going on.
For people listening, you've probably heard Polygon. Maybe you even own some of their tokens, but I think you're going to find this pretty fascinating.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
First off, we've got this whole Matic versus POL thing.
Right.
Some articles are using Matic, some are using POL. What is the deal with that?
Yeah, it can be a little bit confusing. For sure. Polygon rebranded their token from Matic to POL back in February.
Oh, okay.
It was meant to kind of signal their evolution, moving beyond just being like a single blockchain to becoming a whole layer 2 aggregator. So think of it like they want to be the universal remote control for Ethereum scaling.
I see. So it's the same project, just a new name.
Yeah, same project, new name, trying to signal that bigger vision.
Got it.
Yeah.
But the sources we've got here paint kind of a mixed picture. On one hand, Polygon is doing all this really innovative stuff in the blockchain space.
Right.
But then we get hit with this headline from TradingView. 99% of POL holders are in the red.
Ooh, yeah, that's
rough, right?
That's a rough headline.
Like, what happened?
It definitely grabs your attention, right? 99%. But we need some context for that 99% figure. While it is statistically accurate, it counts every single address holding POL. Even ones with like tiny amounts or that have been inactive for ages.
Oh, so it's more about how they're presenting the data.
Exactly.
Then like literally everybody is losing all their money on this.
Yeah, it's not quite as doom and gloom as that headline makes it sound.
Okay.
Now, TradingView does mention that large holders have been selling off recently, which could be contributing to that price drop. The question is this typical for, a volatile asset like crypto? Or is there something more specific to Polygon that is spooking these big players?
Well, they did report an 82% loss over the past year for POL and a 31% drop just last month.
Yeah.
That does seem pretty bad even for crypto.
It's definitely on the higher end of losses.
That's right.
There's no doubt about that. TradingView suggests that the heat is coming from other layer 2 solutions, like Base and Arbitrum. There's a really crowded market out there, and maybe Polygon is losing some of its shine.
For those of us who aren't like knee deep in this stuff every single day, what is the big deal about these layer 2s anyway?
But yeah, good question. Think of Ethereum like a highway, right? And it gets really jammed up with traffic.
Okay.
Layer 2s are like these express lanes that are built on top of it, making those transactions faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to build the best, most efficient express lane because that's going to attract all the users in the projects, which translates to
money.
Money, exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why you see all this competition in the layer 2 space.
So Polygon is trying to hold on to its top spot in this layer 2 race.
Yeah.
But then we got this piece from Crypto Economy that kind of threw me for a loop. They report that Compound, which is a huge DeFi lending platform, right?
Yeah, a big one.
They're launching these new vaults on Polygon, which on the surface sounds great.
Right. That's good. There's a twist.
Yeah, there's a twist.
They're using technology from Morpho.
What?
Which is essentially Compound's competitor in the lending space.
Seriously, that's like Coke using Pepsi's secret formula to make a new drink.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah, but they do that.
Yeah, it's raised some eyebrows for sure. Some people speculate that Compound might be acknowledging that Morpho's tech is just simply more efficient right now. It's all about optimizing those lending and borrowing mechanisms in DeFi.
But doesn't that make Polygon look kind of weak if they're relying on a competitor's tech to power a major project on their platform?
Well, it's not that straightforward. This whole situation, it exposes just how cutthroat the DeFi space is right now. It's really less about brand loyalty and more about the survival of the fittest tech. Polygon might actually be playing a really savvy game here. Focus on providing the best user experience regardless of where the tech comes from.
Interesting. Okay, so it's like, hey, we're the platform, you come build on us with the best tools, even if they're not ours.
Precisely.
Interesting.
And this actually ties into a point that Polygon themselves make in their blog post about these new Morpho-powered lending vaults.
Oh yeah, that blog post was very sunshine and rainbows compared to some of these other articles.
A little bit more optimistic for sure.
They were touting $3 million in incentives to use these vaults.
Yeah, big incentives.
What's the big draw there beyond the freebies?
Well, Polygon is really emphasizing the efficiency and the security of these new vaults. They're promising faster asset listings, which is crucial in the fast-paced DeFi world.
Right.
And they're also boasting about these improved mechanisms to protect users during market volatility.
So they're saying, look, we might not have invented this specific tech, but we're making sure it works seamlessly and safely on our platform.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. shows that they're prioritizing what's best for users in the long run, rather than getting hung up on where that innovation originated.
Okay, so we've got Polygon navigating this complex landscape,
Yeah.
dealing with token price drama,
Lots of drama.
got competition breathing down their necks.
Yeah.
But they're still pushing forward with these DeFi advancements. Where does this leave them, big picture?
Well, to understand that, we need to look beyond the token price and dive into Polygon's broader vision. And that's where things get really interesting.
All right, so we left off talking about Polygon's vision.
Right.
What are they actually aiming for here beyond just being a Layer 2 superstar?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Polygon CEO Marc Boiron was quoted in The Street Crypto talking about building a trustless internet. Now, that sounds pretty lofty, but it gets to the heart of what blockchain is all about.
Okay, break that down for me.
Certainly.
What does a trustless internet even mean?
Yeah, is that like nobody trusts anything online anymore?
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about shifting control and power away from these centralized entities, like big tech companies, governments, and giving it back to the users. Think about how much we rely on these intermediaries for everything we do online. Verifying information, handling transactions, even just storing our data.
Right.
Blockchain is all about cutting out the middleman.
So in this vision, we wouldn't need to blindly trust those big players anymore.
Right.
Okay, but how realistic is that really?
It's certainly a bold ambition. There's no doubt about that. But Polygon is laying the groundwork with their technology. Just imagine a world where you could verify the authenticity of news articles directly on the blockchain,
Wow.
eliminating the possibility of fake news.
Okay.
Or picture farmers tracking their equipment with blockchain-enabled GPS, leading to better yields, less waste.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah, it's not just about...
It's not just about making Ethereum transactions faster. It's about reimagining how the internet itself works.
Exactly. That's the big vision.
But let's be real, Polygon's token price is struggling right now. Can they really achieve this grand vision if they're bleeding investors?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sources that we have present two different sides of the coin here. You've got TradingView focusing on those short-term market trends, highlighting Polygon's losses, and the fierce competition that they're facing.
And those losses are pretty significant.
Yeah, they are.
82% over a year. That's got to sting.
It definitely puts a dent in investor confidence. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But then you have Polygon's own blog post, painting a much more optimistic picture.
Right.
Emphasizing their ongoing development and the partnerships that they're building.
Yeah, those new lending vaults, even though they're powered by Morphos tech, do show that Polygon is still attracting these big players in DeFi.
Exactly. And it goes back to that strategic choice we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Prioritizing that functionality and user experience, even if it means collaborating with your competitors.
Right.
It shows adaptability, which is crucial in this fast-paced industry.
So it's almost like there are two Polygons. The one struggling on the trading charts and the one pushing forward with this trustless internet vision. Which one should we believe in?
That's the question you need to answer.
Right.
Based on your own investment strategy and your risk tolerance. Are you focused on those short-term gains, or are you betting on that long-term potential of blockchain to really transform these different industries?
It's a good reminder that token price doesn't always tell the whole story.
For sure.
But speaking of other projects, we can't forget about Quebetics.
Oh yeah, Quebetics.
They're making a lot of noise right now.
They are.
Especially with their pre-sale raising $15 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
What makes them stand out from the crowd?
Well, Quebetics is intriguing because they're tackling a different piece of the blockchain puzzle. They're really focused on accessibility.
Okay.
Their Quebecoid IDE aims to simplify smart contract development. So it makes it easier for people without deep coding knowledge to build on the blockchain.
So they're trying to democratize blockchain development.
Exactly.
Kind of like what WordPress did for website creation back in the day.
That's a good analogy.
That's a pretty huge ambition.
It is. And they're drawing comparisons to projects like Near Protocol, which have also tried to simplify blockchain development, but, with mixed results. It's a tough challenge. But if Quebetics can really crack the code, so to speak, it could be a game changer.
And Crypto Times even suggested that Quebetics could see a price surge similar to Polygon's breakout on Binance a while back.
Interesting.
Is that a sign that Quebetics is the next big thing while Polygon fades into the background?
Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay.
Analyst predictions can be notoriously unreliable, right?
Ooh.
It's important to remember that both Polygon and Quebetics are operating in very different segments of the blockchain space. each with their own risks and potential rewards.
Right. It's not an either situation.
Exactly.
But it is fascinating to see how both projects, in their own ways, are trying to make blockchain more, user-friendly.
Yeah, that's a key insight.
Yeah.
Polygon, by building on top of Ethereum, aims to make that existing infrastructure, more scalable and efficient. Quebetics, on the other hand, is really targeting that development side, hoping to empower a wider range of creators to build on the blockchain.
So it's like two different approaches to solving the same problem.
Yeah.
How to make blockchain technology accessible and relevant to a broader audience.
Exactly. And with so many projects vying for attention out there, how do we even begin to evaluate which ones are worth paying attention to?
Right.
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Yeah.
This deep dive has given you a snapshot of Polygon and Quebetics.
Right.
But it's crucial to dig deeper, do your own research, and consider what their long-term vision is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Polygon's price struggles, their ambitious vision, this whole Quebetics thing.
Right.
What are the key things our listeners should be taking away from all of this?
If there's one thing to remember, is that the blockchain space is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Don't get so caught up in the daily price fluctuations or the hype surrounding any particular project.
Right.
Instead, focus on the underlying technology and the problems these projects are trying to solve.
So it's less about picking winners and losers and more about understanding the bigger trends shaping the industry.
Precisely. Both Polygon and Quebetics, despite their very different approaches, are ultimately trying to make blockchain more accessible and user-friendly.
Right.
Polygon's doing it through their Layer 2 scaling solutions, making Ethereum more efficient for everyday transactions. And Quebetics is focusing on the development side, trying to empower more people to build on the blockchain.
Which brings us back to that idea of a trustless internet that Polygon CEO was talking about.
Right.
It's a pretty radical concept.
It is.
But it makes you think about the potential of blockchain to really shift power away from those centralized institutions and back to the users.
That's the key takeaway here. Blockchain isn't just about making money or creating new financial instruments. It has the potential to fundamentally change how we interact with the internet, how we verify information, and how we conduct business.
It's almost like we're still in the dial-up era of blockchain. Yeah. We're just starting to glimpse what's possible, and things are going to change drastically in the years to come.
That's a great analogy. And that's why it's so important to stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to dive deep into the projects that pique your interest.
But let's be real, a lot of people are attracted to crypto because of the potential for those big gains.
Of course.
So how do we balance that desire for profit with this long-term vision of blockchain transforming the world?
It's a balancing act for sure. But I think the most successful investors will be those who can see beyond the hype and identify the projects that are building real value, solving real problems, and creating a more equitable and decentralized future.
So should our listeners be buying POL, loading up on Quebetics, or diversifying across a bunch of different projects?
Well, we can't give financial advice.
Of course.
But I will say this, the information we've discussed today should empower you to make more informed decisions. Do your own research, assess your risk tolerance, and choose the projects that align with your beliefs about the future of blockchain.
It's all about empowering ourselves to navigate this exciting but often confusing world of crypto.
Exactly. This deep dive has hopefully given you a framework for thinking critically about blockchain projects and separating the signal from the noise. But the journey doesn't end here. It's up to each of you to continue exploring, learning, and asking those tough questions.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all of this. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep diving deep into the topics that matter to you.